Okay, and Dorothy is here, and so is Julie. It's almost 10. All right, hi everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Saturday.
Hello.
We did it.
What do we do?
We endured a week.
Oh yes, we got through the whole week. Yes.
Good evening, Dorothy. Okay, I think it is 10 o'clock. Hey Esther, I just saw you join in. Thank you everyone for joining us again. Happy Saturday. I hope you had a wonderful day, having a great weekend. How are you? How are you?
Okay. Yeah, today was not the easiest day, but
Yeah.
it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not the easiest, but it's not bad. It wasn't bad. It's getting hot though.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
it's getting super hot. So I hope everybody's looking forward to tomorrow, Sunday, and as we do, and we always forget to say it at the end, so we'll just say it right now. Chroma Church is having our virtual Sunday Bible study, and I think some churches are even opening their physical doors. So if you are a part of one of those churches, have a great time. I hope you take good cautions, and I'm sure the church is making you aware of all the physical distancing and safety cautions. But yeah, enjoy your first day back at church.
Yeah.
Or if you're at home and still worshiping virtually, enjoy that time as well. But we will be worshiping at 1 p.m. and we have a virtual Bible study, and that's 1 p.m. Eastern time. And you can find the link to join our Bible study via Zoom in our Chroma Church page on Facebook. And we would love to have you and just
Absolutely.
talk to you, get to know you, and hear your questions and answers as we discuss the Bible.
Everyone is welcome. It's very friendly. It's very casual.
That's right. That's right. So with that, we're going to just pop up the question of the day. And Isaac wrote a really good question. We're talking about making decisions. I don't know if a lot of you out there are very simple, quick decision makers. I think women are known to make really slow decisions, and I think I saw a lot of memes where the boyfriend asks like, "What do you want to eat?" and the girl's like, I don't know," and then the guy's like, "Just tell me." Anyway, which one of us makes decisions faster? Do you think?
I think it depends on what category.
Yeah.
Yeah. Food, me, other things like what you want to do, like church activities. I think you're faster. You're like, oh, let's do this, that. Yeah. Kind of depends.
Yeah, it depends. So there's not one person in this marriage who makes decisions super slow or super fast. We're pretty equal.
Yeah.
But anyway, the question is, what causes you to be indecisive?
Yeah. And we're not saying that you are all indecisive people. That's not what we're saying.
Well, we are all sometimes.
Sometimes. So again, I wrote it kind of short, but the fuller version of the question would be, what causes you to be indecisive at certain times, or to feel indecisive at certain times? Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we start with us? So feel free to comment your answers, and we would love to read your answers and just talk about it and laugh about it. Sometimes people write really funny stuff, and before we get to it, other viewers get to it and they comment on it, like get replied to it and stuff like that. But yeah, what about us? What causes us to make slow decisions or be indecisive?
For me, it's if it affects more people, then I take more time, and I want to make sure that it's not going to harm anyone or upset anyone. So the more people that affects, the more indecisive I tend to be.
The more people, okay.
Yeah. If there's like many different viewpoints and everyone has particular opinions about a certain issue, but you have to make this decision, that could be hard. But as a leader, you have to do that.
I think for me, I usually always know what I want, so that helps me sometimes to make decisions real fast. But sometimes it slows down the process because not every time there are things that I want. So I'm trying to so I always know what I want, but then, and when there is an option to choose what I want, great, that's it. But when there are options that are not even close to what I had envisioned or what I planned, that's when I get really slow. to make decisions, and I can really take forever.
Mm.
Yeah, to decide whether, a simple thing as what to eat,
Mhm.
or, what we're gonna do with our family next
Yeah.
year. Like, where are we gonna move to? Not that we're moving anywhere, we're not moving anywhere, we're not going anywhere, but making decisions for the family. Yeah.
And that kind of leads to another idea that I have is sometimes if you are feeling indifferent about something, if you don't care about something enough, that can also be a factor in being indecisive.
Okay.
So that's where indecision and being, what's the word indifferent,
Yeah.
they can kind of overlap.
Okay.
And that could be a dangerous thing too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to share about what you have from the word today?
Yeah, so this was a kind of an interesting topic. I don't think it's such a clear-cut topic where you can go to this passage and it speaks about this directly. But it's more like, what does the entire counsel of the Bible tell us about decision making or being indecisive? And so it was a little difficult to pinpoint one particular passage, but I want to read one verse from Proverbs and then just talk about the wisdom literature in general. And so this is Proverbs 14, verse 8. And it says, "The wisdom of the prudent is to discern his way, but the folly of fools is deceiving." So the wisdom of the prudent people have a type of wisdom. And what it's saying is that their wisdom is to discern their way. So as they go, they are discerning. As they go, they are sensing, they are thinking, is this the right step? Is this not the right step? And they do that as they go. And that's how you become a prudent, wise person. And so part of being discerning is not just knowing where, but also knowing when. So a prudent person knows when to move forward or when to wait a little bit. That's part of being prudent. Prudent is neither being cowardly and passive, but it's also not being hasty and rushing into things. So prudent has that balance between the two. There's a time to move, and when it's time to move, you move quickly. But then there are times to wait and to watch and to collect information and to look at your options and then make the best decision. That's really what it means to be prudent and to be wise. And that's what we're seeing in this verse here. And so, I just want to say that overall, the purpose of the wisdom books, so there are certain wisdom books, there's, Proverbs, which we just read, a lot of the Psalms, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, some of the prophetic writing. These books are meant to instruct us to be able to make wise decisions that lead to blessing and lead to fruitfulness. That's what the whole purpose of the wisdom books is for, is to instruct us. So the more we study those books, the more we learn of them and follow their ways, the more wise we become. But here's the thing, when do we use wisdom? We use wisdom in those moments where God is not giving us specific instructions and telling us specifically what to do. Those moments are actually fairly rare. So when you look at the people in the Bible, and we talked about this before, I remember we talked about this 2 or 3 times, the moments that God speaks, so when God spoke to Moses, or when God spoke to Abraham or Elijah, those moments were not like every hour or every day. It was actually more like once a month, or we can, maybe even sometimes even years in between. And so in those moments, you have to count like how much time is passing. So when God speaks, just do what he says. Right? That's simple. When God tells you to do something,
if you hear his voice,
just do it.
Just do it.
But the question is, what about all those times in between? Right? Where God hasn't spoken something very strong or very specific in a while. You're still praying, you're still reading the word, but how are you supposed to make decisions in those times? It's using wisdom. Use your best wisdom. Pray for guidance. Trust that the Holy Spirit is guiding you. Even if you can't hear anything, even if you can't see anything, trust that the Holy Spirit is working in your thought process. That's actually important. And then use your best wisdom. Look at your options. Look at your surroundings. And act like this prudent person that we read about in Proverbs 14.
Yeah. And I think another point that we really wanted to emphasize today is oftentimes, a lot of times actually, you are faced with 2, 3, or more really good, solid choices. And you just stand there asking God, which one, A or B or C? As leaders and as pastor of a church, we get a lot of questions like that, and they come to us asking for us to pray and asking for guidance. And I think a lot of times, excuse me, I think a lot of people, younger people, I think they are hinting at us, wanting us to give them an answer.
Yeah, that's what they want.
They want us to say, you know what, I heard from the Lord, and He wants you to actually walk through door B.
Yeah, that would
They're
make
like,
it really easy.
And I think in some ways, they also felt like they wanted to walk through door B as well. So they came just for a confirmation, right? But we try our best. It's really hard for me. I don't know how difficult it is for you, Isaac, to tell them to make your own choice. It's really hard for us to do that because sometimes we know the answer, and because I know what I want, and sometimes I could enforce what I want for their life. So it's really hard for me to tell them, you go and make your own decision. Yeah. So anyway, I think a lot of times people want someone to tell them, this is what I heard from the Lord. And if you do hear that from the Lord, continue to share with your friends and family that is from God. And you know, your whatever you share may benefit them and may lead them to walk through the right direction. But a lot of times it is okay to walk through either door A, B, or C. God is with you. And I say this as well many, many times. It's not about which door you walk through, but it is about how you walk through that door. God is going to walk with you through that door, whether it's A or B or C. It's not about which one you go through, because you can easily walk through door A, which seemed like the best choice then, but you can walk there through fear of man, through with bitterness and with greed, right? With selfish ambition, even though it seemed like the best door, the door that God has opened wide for you. Or you can walk through that door B, the narrowest door, and the door that seemed like it's the most challenging, but you can walk through it with thanksgiving, gratitude, joyfulness, and peace. So it's God, I think, sometimes challenging us, testing us, allowing us to walk through the door, any door that He has placed before us, with the right heart. A heart of worship, a heart that is humble, a heart that knows that God goes with me wherever I go. So now this is, as long as it's not like door C that leads to complete, blatant sin, we're talking about 3 doors or more that are from God. Yeah. So, you know, I just want to encourage you, if you are in that situation, let's not waste so much time anymore thinking about which door is the best door, because already there you might be thinking about the best door for your selfish ambition, for your worldly desires. And you may be just calculating and contemplating trying to walk through the best door, when in fact, you know, God is saying, just go.
Right.
Yeah. It looks like you're busy searching something. You got something?
That popped up? Yeah, as you're talking, you reminded me of a verse, Romans 14:23. You know, Paul's talking about, you know, whether it's okay to eat this or okay to eat that, and he's talking about conscience and he's talking about faith, and then at the very end it says, whatever does not proceed from faith is sin. And so, I just wanted to add on to what you're saying. Go through that door, but do it in faith.
Yeah.
Do it in faith, knowing that God has given you the choice, that God has given you the wisdom. And if you make that choice using the best wisdom that you can, because you believe it will bless not only yourself, but it will lead to blessing for others and it will glorify God, then believe that God is pleased with that. And then just do it. Because, you know, if we do something against our own conscience, if we're doing it because we're compelled by guilt or duty or all these other negative things, that's not pleasing to the Lord. Yeah. And that's sin.
That's good, yeah. I think I've also heard people say that I wish I didn't have all these choices. I wish God had closed all these doors around me and left me one open. And sometimes He does that, and it's easier, isn't it? But what a blessing it is to be able to have choices. And God does that to us, to train us, to test us, because after you make that right choice, and even if you make the wrong choice, right? Let's not regret and look back and think, man, I should have walked through door B, not A, right?
Yeah.
Because the next one, maybe you will make the better choice. So make that choice today. But most of all, let's look at God. Let's have faith in the decisions that we're making. The song we're singing tonight is Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus. It is just the words. I think this is actually one of my favorite lines in all songs, hymns or praise music, anything. And it is, turn your eyes upon Jesus and look at His wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim. I love the mixture of all the words there. The things of earth, not will it just grow dim, but strangely dim. Once we look at Jesus, look upon His wonderful face, we start to see all these useless choices, thoughts, and distractions disappear. Not just, in a conventional way, but in a mysterious and unconventional way. God makes those things disappear. So let's sing, let's worship together. The lyrics are up. Thank you, Chihye, again, for sharing the lyrics through the comments. So let's worship. Tonight. Have a wonderful night, great sleep, wonderful rest. I hope we somehow helped you and encourage you to make that decision a little bit faster, because knowing that it's all about the how, not the what. I walk through that door that you've been praying about with the Lord, knowing that He goes before us. So have a good night. I hope to see you at our service tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you have any questions, if you have any prayer requests, we would love to pray for you and answer your questions. So please feel free to message us. Thank you. Good night.
God bless.